post-Christmas period, since you guys probably are winding down your preparations for Christmas. You're rushing out the latest features. You're going into code freeze probably. So you might already be looking at how to manage the post-Christmas dip. And that's what we're going to focus on a little bit here with our webinar. So thanks for tuning in. Okay, so the topic obviously is triggered emailing. So it is really focusing on Nosto, the product, and how to apply this. All of the people here in the call are actually familiar with Nosto solution, have used it. I can see many familiar names. So it's great to see you here in the call. And we sent you this email because you guys have probably not yet deployed any triggered emails or looking for tricks and tips to improve the performance even further. But it's just a quick recap on what we do with triggered emails. Nosto basically offers 3 fully automated email types that can be pretty much turned on once you have completed your implementation of Nosto, and that can basically run in the background without any active management necessary. That will be the abandoned cart recovery email, which just checks if a customer leaves items in the cart and then just drops out before actually converting. We have the order follow-up email. That's kind of the email that tries to get customers to buy complementary items that fit with his previous purchase. And the third one is the we miss you email, and that trigger point basically looks at, has a customer been back to the shop or not, and if he has not been back, then we try to kind of get him back with that email, and of course using, as always, personalized recommendation and personalized content. And we see a really decent performance, but we wanted to actually look at the performance last year, how the post-Christmas period actually performs in terms of our emails. So we pulled out some stats for last Christmas period. Some of them, I would say most of the KPIs are actually positive. There's also one negative KPI, but I think the most important aspect for you guys is that since the triggers basically increase, you will also be able to send a whole lot more of those triggered emails that actually do convert. So what we've seen last year is that in the post-Christmas period, January, February, March, that the increase in those automated emails is actually pretty high. And in a way, that's pretty logical, right? So you will have a ton of people leaving their carts during Christmas because you probably have also buying, let's say, not as great traffic or buying more traffic. You're basically also seeing a lot of orders, so that would trigger the order follow-up email. And then finally, you will most probably see a ton of customers who buy once during Christmas and then probably never come back to your site, and those are the ones that we target with the "We miss you" email. So all these trigger points actually lead to an increase of those of the volume of emails, and then we wanted to kind of look at how is the performance affected. We were positively surprised in terms of open rate and CTR. Those actually both increase. To be very honest with you, the conversion rate does decrease. So we have seen that to go down by around about 6%. But I think that's counterbalanced by simply the amount of triggered emails that you can send. So I would say mostly upsides, but of course there's a lot of noise and a lot of competition also in the post-Christmas period. So just that point. So if we get that out of the way, then we can look at a couple of points of how we would basically improve the performance of triggered emails and how you can make sure that you target as many customers as possible. And I think the first tip is, and we've mentioned this also in other webinars, is to collect email addresses as early as possible. If you look at some of the major enterprise level clients, they will actually ask for email address really, really quickly. Example given, Amazon, if you land there as a new customer, you will have these pop-ups in your face, sort of graciously, but still there, asking for login or asking you to sign up to get a voucher. And the reason, of course, is to really collect those email addresses early, and then you can actually start that relationship with the customer and start targeting him with personalized offers. So kind of the first step, get customers, if possible, to sign up and potentially even use incentives to do so. It's always easier to sell to a returning customer than kind of buying new traffic all over again. And Amazon, of course, takes this to a whole new level. If you basically go into the checkout flow, as a new customer, the first thing, of course, that they ask for is the email address. And we advise all customers as well to do the same. Ask for the email address, get that before any other information about the consumer. And then you can start, as I said, the communication with your consumer and your customer. So number two is also related to gathering as many email addresses as possible during Christmas, and then basically to retarget in post-Christmas. We're obviously Nosto is not the only one doing this. There are other tools, but I think it's a pretty convenient feature that we have. It's called the abandoned cart pop-up feature, where we really try to collect additional email addresses for those consumers and customers who are not logged in to your shop. And I think you guys know probably 50-60% of your customers will probably be new customers that are not identified, that might only make one purchase. And for those people, it really makes sense to kind of go the extra mile and ask them for their email address. I think it's not super intrusive. Most of our consumers and merchants are actually pretty happy with this feature. And this would give the consumer the possibility to save his cart to email. So pretty neat feature for sure, and easy implemented, of course. This is actually still number one. So again, collecting as many email addresses as possible. It's a bit technical, I would say, but I think we can mention this as well. Some of our merchants actually use what is called this on-blur event, where basically if a person is entering his email address in the form fields, we can actually pick up pretty much every keystroke that he does in real time and dynamically. To collect that email. Again, it's a bit technical, and you can always be in contact with support if that's what you want. But in essence, it means the consumer and the customer does not have to click next before we record his email. So quite a neat little feature to get those extra email addresses saved. All right. Number two, boost the relevance of triggered emails. This is a bit looking more into the content of the triggered emails. I would say once you guys open up a Nosto account, the emails and the templates that you will find there are working right out of the box. These are great templates. You more or less can simply send them out as is by simply amending a little bit of copy. That being said, I think there are a couple of points to improve on those and to amend them in a smart way. So point number one, people like getting emails from other people, not companies. I think the example that I show here is one of the blogs that I read. It's from unbounce.com. And I get an email from Georgina from Unbounce. I mean, obviously, it's probably not Georgina. It's probably some huge bald dude sitting in his basement somewhere. But it's always nice to get an email from seemingly like a real person. And I think especially in retail, to give that extra personal touch can never be a bad thing. So be mindful about your sender address. So that's tip number one. What we also have done with a couple of merchants is to make the subject line actually really relevant. That means that not only the content of the email is important, but also the metadata, the subject line, which is sometimes all a customer will see. So what you can actually do is to use, again, a little bit technical, a nice for each loop, and kind of show those products from the abandoned cart email in the subject line. Example given, you looked at an iPhone 6, you didn't conclude the purchase, and now you get an email saying, hey, you left your iPhone 6 in the cart. Why don't you come back and check it out again? Something like this. Again, this makes it more relevant, and more relevant email tends to obviously convert better. Good. Point number 3, include all USPs. I think there's a lot of material on the internet highlighting this, but especially during Christmas, super important to really showcase what you as a merchant are basically made of. And you guys know we're not just competing on a product, right? Everybody can sell you the iPhone 6, but what you're actually competing on is, in many cases, the service, everything, the guarantee, for example, the shipping conditions. All of these information are super relevant to make a purchasing decision during Christmas and post Christmas. So that means if you have what it takes, if you really have great service, then highlight those as much as you can. And I picked actually one of our clients' emails, really nice. So he's basically highlighting his hotline. He's highlighting his safe shopping certificates. So it's really nice way to connect to the consumer. And make sure that he doesn't feel in any way that he's risking anything when concluding the purchase. So very nice way to bring the customer back. Then this one, still boosting the relevance of triggered emails. Sort of an old topic. You've probably heard it many times, but still I think relevant to mention. Even in the age of iPads and high resolution screens, be mindful about above the fold, also with your emails. I would say even nowadays, you still have shops that have 40-50% of consumers coming in on their desktops or on their laptops that might only have a resolution of 720p, for example. And there it really matters what you show on the top of your email. And even though some UX people believe that scrolling is a good thing, it's my personal opinion and many other people's opinions that you should show the most important content above the fold. So just be mindful about that. And one nice way to potentially do this, this is an example, Joy the Store. Instead of using a vertical bar of products, they use a horizontal bar pushing the content up. I think that's a nice way and will catch the consumer's eye really quickly. All right, I think this is a huge topic, especially after Christmas. The bargain hunters are coming out of the woodworks. Looking for discounts, looking for all the stuff that people have sent back and that's now being red priced heavily. And there's one way to, of course, include discounts in Nosto triggered emails as well. It's very simple to set up. We can actually jump into the Nosto dashboard in a bit. But our tips here are actually to be a little bit careful about discounts, being smart about it. So the first point that I want to mention is using one-time voucher codes only. With Nosto, you can easily upload the vouchers that you have generated and the coupon codes that you've generated in your shopping platform, which means that these vouchers can only be used one time, and they cannot be put, for example, on all those voucher websites where they will basically spread like wildfire and destroy your margin. So use that feature with Nosto. When it comes to at least the abandoned cart emails, again, here the danger is if you include the discount codes directly on the first triggered email, the first abandoned cart wave that we usually send out after 30 minutes, might be easy for the consumer to see what is happening and simply learning that behavior and just waiting for that discount code to appear in his inbox. So we really do recommend if you use voucher codes in the abandoned cart emails, then do that in the second wave that you might send out, let's say 24 hours later or 8 hours after the consumer has left his cart. So that's our tip. And I think contrary to that, in the We Miss You emails, I think that's actually a much better fit for discount codes. These are consumers and users that haven't been back to the shop in a long while. And here it's much more, I would say, appropriate to include a discount voucher because this is more or less the customer acquisition cost to bring the customer back. And that will most probably be much cheaper than putting up a new AdWords campaign. Instead, just giving, 5%, 10% discount for a returning customer. All right, tip number 4. Again, a little bit looking at the content of the emails, providing rich content imagery. I think more or less, as I mentioned before, we see that customers are using really, really nice and shiny new devices with high resolution screens. 4K resolution is taking hold slowly. So what we're also seeing with some of our consumers is that they tend to go for larger images, not just on-site, but also in their triggered emails. And there's no kind of no one forces you to do personal recommendations the old-fashioned way. Let's call it this way, like a very classic horizontal bar. In this example here, we can see that the personal recommendation is actually 2 or more images that are blown up really, really nicely, providing lots of detail. So you have the possibility, of course, to style them a little bit more visually appealing. And this is again also kind of highlighting the second point. Exhaustive product descriptions really, really convert much better than a simple email that looks empty. So my personal experience from Zalando back in the day, when we did split tests between a product that had a really nice product description and one without a product description, of course, we could see a huge lift if you provide rich content and rich context as well. So I think those two are super important. Larger images and nice product descriptions, which again, from a technical standpoint, we pull out from your front end. So if you've done a nice Nosto integration, then we're already grabbing that information from you, and it's being displayed in those standardized emails already. All right, tip number 5. Again, a little bit technical, but I don't want to dwell too much on this one. All Nosto emails can, of course, be customized using different recommendation algorithms. You can, for example, show a bestsellers, for example, of the last week, to kind of highlight your latest, hottest products. You can also switch to a more personalized approach, anything from browsing history, personalized recommendations, also cart-related content. All of these algorithms are available in our emails to use. So kind of be mindful about that you also have the possibility to kind of amend the rule sets and the algorithms within our triggered emails to kind of improve or amend it to fit your business model. All right. Step number 6, this is taking it a little bit more advanced into a little bit more the, let's call it the multi-channel or omni-channel personalization approach. We're doing this with sort of our key accounts. Some of the bigger and biggest merchants are really looking into this, and that means including recs and recommendations inside other communication channels, such as newsletters or such as transaction emails. And the idea being that every touch point you have with the customer should be in some form or another personalized. So let's say if someone orders a product and you ship the product and you send him the ship products email, which is coming from usually from your shop platform or your fulfillment partner, then you could easily include personalized product recommendations here as well. And you can take this really, really far. I mean, you can take personalization into offline retail, into your apps. So there's really no limits to what you can do, and Nosto is ready to serve you here with our flexible API. That being said, it leaves a little bit the plug and play approach, of course, behind. But yeah, I think it's worth definitely mentioning that this is kind of the next steps. All right, last point. Let's then go into the questions. I think really important from a marketing perspective. It's kind of the email on-site consistency, which also relates to our recommendations. So what do I mean by this? I think every marketer knows that you need to be consistent in your branding approach, and we see some of our merchants sadly not follow those rules. But our big merchants, of course, do. So be mindful of kind of mirroring a little bit in your emails what you do on site. This will be anything from your logo. You can see here the navigation bar, everything from the text should be kind of mirroring what you're doing on site. I know it's kind of maybe a low-hanging fruit, but yeah, I think works wonders. And the second point that I really want to highlight with this consistency is the recommendation consistency. So if I get a triggered email from Joy the Store or from any one of you guys, and I'd basically come back to your site, I expect there to be some kind of personalized content as well. That can even be as simple a tool as a consistent shopping cart that you can enable, but of course you can also go with Nosto's personalized product recommendations. It just allows a returning customer to seamlessly continue shopping. And I think that's what we do, trying to be smart in the approach across channels. So that will be my last tip. If the consumer comes back based on those emails, just give him familiar and relevant content, either through us or any other method you deem important. All right, I think quick and dirty today. Let's open for questions. Any particular questions that you guys have, maybe on setting up recommendations or the email? Sorry. Okay, so the first question is above the fold. That's a point that I can quickly touch on. Here we go. So I mentioned you guys should be mindful what is above the fold. What is above the fold basically means what is it that consumers see on their screen. So usually when you open up an email, half the email will be actually hidden, and you have to scroll down to see the email or part of that email. So the top part that's visible, that would be above the fold, and everything that's not immediately visible is below the fold. All right, here we go. Next question. So, can the personalization recommendations of Nosto be imported into other emailing services? The answer here is yes. That would be covered by our API. So that would be number 6. So what you can do is you can do an API call to us. Again, a little bit technical, but I think worth mentioning. And we would return personalized recommendations, and you can include that into, for example, MailChimp or Exact Target or whatever you use for your email needs. So yes, the answer is yes, you can do that. All right. Any questions on setting this up, or anything in the back end? The question is also on the presentation. Yes, we will make that presentation available to you guys, of course. Okay, we have one question on what is the best practice for timing these emails. I think a very good question. When you open up an account, we kind of give you one suggestion, which would be, for example, for the abandoned cart emails, 30 minutes, 30 days for the we miss you, and I believe it's 7 days for the order follow-up email. But I think you really have to look at the specific case of yours. For example, today I talked with a shop selling really expensive watches, and I think here the kind of decision process is really long, or probably longer than buying a shirt or a sweater. So now what we've done here is, for example, for the abandoned cart email, we've increased the timing to like 24 hours, so we don't get too pushy. That would be one example. But again, you can also turn this around, for example, in the consumer electronics vertical, where competition is so brutal. I would probably even go with, could be something like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So you have the possibility to amend that. Okay, so the question is, can you show where to import discount codes? Of course. Let me just... All right, you guys should be able to see my screen if I'm not mistaken. All right, so if you go into your dashboard here, campaigns, you will see here coupon codes feature. Probably being locked out, no. Okay, and that means here that you can actually more or less copy paste a whole set of coupons. That can be probably more than 1,000, sometimes 10,000 based on your traffic. Let's just call it coupon codes campaign, something very simple. And then the expiration date, really important. And then now you have the possibility to either upload a CSV file or just copy paste those coupons. So the first step would be actually to kind of set them up within Magento or Shopify or wherever, and then copy paste them here. Once that is done, you actually have within the email campaigns feature the possibility to add coupon codes here. And as you can see here, I just set up this coupon code campaign, 0 remaining because I didn't upload anything. But in any case, here you can just simply include that coupon code and it will be added as a variable and as text in the email. All right. Let's see. Okay, the question is how difficult is it to configure the template right from the get-go? I think it's very easy to amend some of the very basic styling, colors, I would say. Also adding, let's say, a couple of images could be very easy that you style beforehand. If you want a full-on restyle of the emails, I think that leaves the plug-and-play approach probably a little bit behind. Styling emails and setting them up completely anew, afresh, actually requires a lot of quality assurance because you have so many devices and so many email providers that you need to test those so thoroughly. That's why I would say for small and medium-sized merchants, it might make sense to simply go with the template that's within Nosto and then just make minor adjustments. Okay, then we have questions. What are the best recommendations to have in abandoned cart emails and we miss you emails? I would say in the abandoned cart email, since it's really sent, probably usually after 30 minutes or an hour after someone has left the cart, I would suggest to have definitely the browsing history inside the email. That means if you open that email, you will see a ton of content that you've already kind of just shortly looked at. It kind of refreshes your memory, and you see stuff that you've liked or at least considered before. For the we miss you emails, since we like the last browser information that we have is pretty old, I would always start with, for example, a bestseller of the last week, for sure. Okay. So the question, actually, one of the guys also asking how to create templates that are more above the fold. That was actually a kind of a custom approach from one of our merchants. So they pushed a lot of content up, but they actually did spend some resources to update that email. So that point is invalid. So then we have a question here. Is that customization service you offer? From our standpoint, we're basically a software as a service provider, and we basically don't do consultancy or styling work. That being said, we can refer to agencies that are expert at creating email templates. So you can basically send me an email or one of the sales guys, and we'll put you in touch with an agency that we trust, that we know does a great job on the emails. So we have one more question. Do you have any data to show that abandoned carts emails perform better with personalized recommendations? They do. I think most or the best indication of that is some of our consumers, some of our merchants who are using this feature, who actually used standardized abandoned cart emails and now switched over to abandoned cart emails that include personalized recommendations. That's something that Nosto is doing. That being said, we also have seen some of our clients turning off their personalized reco boxes in the emails, which backfired a little bit. So yeah, we do see it's tremendously important to personalize in the triggered emails. All right. Any Any other questions? If not, then I want to thank you for your time here with me, and hope that you at least have a couple of points that you can improve on. And if you have any questions, just always let us know at support@nosto.com. You can also send me an email directly to Jan at Nosto. We'll be happy to help or jump into a call with you guys anytime. Just let us know if you have questions. There was actually one more question. Is there an existing integration with MailChimp? It's right now it's not a plug and play integration, but you can use our API to feed recommendations into MailChimp. And of course, we're working on a better integration with some of the email providers going forward. So stay tuned for that. All right. Thank you very much, and have a great evening. Take care. Bye.